Hello viewers, and welcome back in to the next episode of the Mercedes-Benz F1 Manager 22 save with myself, Wainsworld, on the channel. First of all, as you can hear from my throat, I apologize for the lack of uploads recently. I've had a really bad cold, which I'm not completely over. So it completely wiped me out for last week. I wasn't able to bring you any uploads, but we are back heading to the Circuit of the Americas in the United States, and hopefully I can just get through this with my voice, with my throat, with my nose. So I do apologize if I sound a little bit off. I am still recovering from the cold, but last time out was obviously our victory at Singapore. It was in Japan. We done a really good strategy following some Singapore activity before that, and yeah, last episode was a very good one for us. Lewis Hamilton won, and George Russell, although he had a bit of an incident, he recovered pretty well to finish in P8. And what that meant was Mercedes opened up a little bit less of a gap to Ferrari. Ferrari opened up a bit more of a gap to us. It's now 9 points to Ferrari, and we opened up a bit more of a gap to Red Bull. So we should have second place in the Constructors' Championship secured. But remember, we are the current 8-time consecutive champions in the Constructors field, and we want to make that 9. Over in the driver's standing side of it, Lewis Hamilton leads Charles Leclerc, who had a crazy race in Japan with mistakes after mistakes after mistakes. So it looks as though reigning champion Max Verstappen is out of it. With only 4 races to go, he is looking off the pace, around about 50 to 60 points behind Lewis Hamilton. We're heading to America now, but before that, we do have some info to go through. The development of Jared Murphy, he's got 2 development points to add. So we are going to give 1 to high speed downforce and 1 to DRS Delta. And now cooling is the only thing that is below the 80, so that's good for him. I do like that. Good stuff there. We have a development point for Mike Elliott as well. Side pods is going to have a bit of an upgrade. Pete Boddington, he has 1. Communication, we're going to up it to 100. He is the first person in this save to have a stat at 100. Good stuff there for Bono. And then finally, George Russell's engineer is up as well, and we're going to do pit crew management. Do we need to worry about that? We're going to go up, and he's now 91 rated. Fantastic stuff there. So his communication's gone up to 97 as well. So everyone all around do seem to be improving, which is good. We're still focusing on the tire changes, because obviously that is the biggest part of our pit stops. We don't really need to worry about anything else too much, but we do need to be quick on the tire change side of it. Inbox wise, if we continue on, then we're going to have a design of the new side pods updated. So let's take a look at that. Side pods design complete. Let's manufacture them. We have got to rush it so that we could try and get this before the American Grand Prix if it was possible. We're gonna do 4 just again to make sure that we've got enough for the end of the season. We should have 1 before America. I don't think we'll have enough for 2, so we're going to confirm that. And then also what we're going to do is under car part development, current projects, we should have enough now to take a little bit more research, and we're going to research the underfloor. There was a comment in one of my previous videos to suggest that we should be looking at the underfloor because of how sort of important it is to the car, and it makes a hell of a lot of sense, because I've only been thinking about the regulation changes. So there's regulation changes to the side pods, there's regulation changes to the chassis as well. So yeah, we are going to do that, and underfloor as well. So we're going to focus on that. We'll leave it on balanced for now unless we go all the way up. We'll do that. And how many engineers? We've got 5 engineers available. So let's do that. It's going to take 81 days, so it's going to take a hell of a lot. Okay. Okay, we're going to have to do that after. I thought you would be able to do research, but you've only got 18 days. So we're going to keep the engineers available. And then next time then, we're going to do underfloor. We're going to do underfloor, and we are going to do rear wing, I think. We'll do some engineers. So we can't do that there. Let's continue on. Let's take a look here. Some suspension, low stock. Do we need to worry about that? Let's manufacture a new part of suspension. Let's take a look. I don't think we need one. Let's manufacture one more, just to be safe. I don't think we're low on stock at all. That's a bit of a strange request, but we're going to push forward again. And hospitality areas in poor condition. Let's take a look at this. Do we refurbish it? Yeah, let's just refurbish that. And we've also got race simulator in poor condition. We'll refurbish that as well. Although, yeah, it's not worth the upgrade. Let's refurbish that. And then let's continue again. The manufacturing of the suspension has been complete. That's great. And the engine's in poor condition with George Russell. We are going to have to take an engine penalty, I think, with George Russell, because of the incident that happened with Max Verstappen previously. We're going to have to buy a new engine, which should last until the end of the season, I think. With Lewis Hamilton, I don't think we can really afford an engine penalty with Lewis. So we're going to use an old one during practice and go back to this one. Check the ERS. ERS is just about okay. And the gearbox is just about fine as well, so we should be able to get through. Let's push through to the race weekend then, as we've got some race prep for America. Let's go to the performance targets. Qualified position, reach Q2 as well. 2 drivers in the top 8, because we've not really been qualifying very well, and the AlphaTauri is rapid. Fastest lap we're not going to worry about, but finish position 2 in the top 8 as well for some more sponsorship money. And then the qualifying and the finish position streak we are going. So let's head to the race weekend at America.
Welcome to the United States Grand Prix. We're in Austin, but there are no wild cowboys on the track this weekend, just some serious horsepower. It's sure to be a race to remember. The Circuit of the Americas has it all. Twists and turns, steep climbs, fast corners, and a power-hungry Sector 2. Quite a headache to balance, even if teams will be looking at maximising downforce overall. Mercedes made us all dream this season, but will their dreams of the championship become reality?
They're facing off against the formidable Ferrari, who won't go down without a fight.
Let's get this underway.
Got a little bit of rain on Saturday, but the race is clear on Sunday. Let's continue on. Car parts knowledge. We're going to go to car parts. Lewis Hamilton should have the new side pods, I believe. Yeah, we've got one, so we're going to give it to him because he is obviously in the title hunt. So we're going to do that. George Russell will have it for the next race. Engine, we are going to use an older one, and we're going to go back to the newer version of one at a later session. ERS as well, we're going to use an older one, try to save a little bit just for practice, because obviously we're not really trying too hard in practice. And then we're going to that as well. And then with George Russell, we're going to do very similar with the car parts. The engine's on 37%, but he's got a brand new one, so we could keep that. The ERS is at 77%, but we're going to knock that down just to keep it safe. And then the gearbox is at 54%. We're going to use this one on 39%. It should be fine for a little bit. Right. Run plan 20 laps, car setup. We're going to mess around with the setup and the highlights once again. As always, we will bring them to you during these practice sessions. First crash of the weekend, then there's Zhou Guanyu, who locks up and he's forced a virtual safety car as he goes straight into the barrier there. Luckily, it's only practice one. George Russell is out and coming into the pit, so we're going to call him in now. Currently down in P14 with George Russell. Lewis Hamilton, he's had his feedback, and yeah, he's currently down in P11, so we're not really showing too much pace. The soft tires are not very good around here, so we do need to take that into consideration. Carlos Sainz currently topping the time sheets at the minute with Sergio Perez and Max Verstappen in P2 and 3. Charles Leclerc in P4. I'm going to imagine once again, qualifying wise, we're probably going to finish P5, P6. So if Charles Leclerc can finish P4, that's great, because it means that Lewis Hamilton is in a position that he can just tag along with Charles Leclerc, and maybe our strategy will do it a little bit of justice. Right, we are at the end of practice one then, and Lewis Hamilton is coming into the pits. He's currently down in P13. Doing well on the setup and the track acclimatization. George Russell is out for one more lap. 25% on the track acclimatization. And yeah, remember, we are using old parts because we don't want to incur any penalties at all if we don't have to. George Russell's already taken an engine penalty. With Lewis Hamilton in the title race, we do need to avoid penalties where we can. We've not really shown much pace at all, but what we have found is that the soft tires here at America is not the smartest option. So let's bring both of our drivers in towards the end of this session. Lewis Hamilton is coming in now. There he is, peels off into the pit lane, and George Russell will be coming in next.
Session is over.
Right, into practice two then, and we've got 78% on George Russell's setup here. Braking stability is bad, so we do need to fix that. These straights as well, we do need to do there, so we'll do something like that. For George Russell, run plan, we will knock it down 16, and George Russell will come out, and confidence setup for Lewis Hamilton is great, so we're going to call him in at the end of this lap. Track acclimatization then, we're at 38%, so not too bad. Let's take a look at Lewis Hamilton's here, 85%. So we've got two optimals, two goods, and a great. So traction might be a bit difficult, but let's focus on the braking stability and the traction. I'm not sure we'll be able to get 100% with Lewis Hamilton. So let's knock that down to 15, and we'll get both of these drivers out again for the end of the session. Another incident then, and Alonso locks up much like Zhou Guanyu did and goes straight off into the wall. Big crash, and that will be the end of his session for the Alpine. George Russell is back out, and Lewis Hamilton is currently in the pits. Virtual safety car has come out. Pace-wise, we're not showing it again, but Carlos Sainz is showing the pace here at the top of the charts once again. Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen, and Charles Leclerc round up the top four. We do need to get into that sort of 5th, 6th battle with the likes of the McLaren, with the Alfa Romeo. But yeah, we haven't really shown much pace yet at all this weekend, but that's fine. It's all about getting the right setup first, and then we'll be able to see just how quick we can go. Carlos Sainz now with a huge crash, and that's a bit of a surprise because he's dominated the session so far. He should be okay to finish the session, I believe. Let's take a look. Is he coming into the pits? He's definitely not retired. He doesn't seem to have that much damage, so I think he should continue on. But yeah, big issue there for Carlos Sainz, who has been the best driver so far on the grid this weekend. Hopefully that leaves us in good stead for the race. We've obviously not made any mistakes so far, and as long as we can keep it like that, maybe we could be on for some good points. Right, so the end of practice 2, and George Russell is on 97%. I don't think we'll be able to get much more than that without messing up anything, so we're probably just going to keep it on that. We're down in 17th place at the minute with George Russell. Lewis Hamilton's coming into the pits. He is currently on 92%. 3 optimals, a great and a good. So yeah, we're gonna need to mess around with the traction a little bit. So Yeah, that's a little bit of a weird balance, and we're gonna have to try and not mess around with the optimals too much. We'll do that for the end of the session. Go out on the hard tires, or sorry, the end of practice with practice 3. We're not gonna go out again. Lewis Hamilton's currently in P13, George Russell currently down in P17. That's gonna be the end of us for the session. Carlos Sainz will top the timesheets unless something crazy happens, but let's head towards practice 3 and qualify him. And in practice 3, Lewis Hamilton is up to 97% as well, so we are happy with that. We're just going to go to the tires again. We're going to keep him out for 24 laps because we want to get that track acclimatization up. So we'll do that, and we're going to send him back out. 97% on both drivers. George Russell's currently sitting on 73% on the track acclimatization. He's going to stay out for the rest of the session, basically. And Lewis Hamilton's going to have to get his up. I think we might be able to get 100% with George Russell, as long as the tires do stay okay. So we're going to start conserving them a little bit, and we're going to conserve the tires with Lewis Hamilton as well. So yeah, good session in terms of setup, but not in terms of times, but that's okay. Hopefully we'll be able to address that during qualifying. Right, that's the end of practice 3. Lewis Hamilton's up to 93% on the track acclimatization. George Russell has 100%, 97% on the setup. Same with Lewis Hamilton, 97%. George Russell is in the pits, P13 he ended up, and Lewis Hamilton on P19. So we're going to head towards the end of the session now. Lewis Hamilton's going to come in. He might be able to get up to 95% here, but that's going to be the end of it here. But important news is that Sergio Perez has an engine penalty. He'll be taking an engine penalty ahead of this race, so hopefully we'll be able to qualify ahead of Sergio Perez. Right, end of Q1, and George Russell's currently in P4, Lewis Hamilton's in P5. I think we should have enough to be qualified through to Q2 at the very least, but we have sent them out on used tires again. Let's fast forward it through and just make sure that we have qualified. I think, as I said, it should be okay. Pierre Gasly's not gone faster than us, neither is Yuki Tsunoda, but that will be us through to Q2 at the very least. Let's follow on with Lewis Hamilton, who has improved Sector 1 and Sector 2. Does he improve his time overall? This will be interesting to watch as the sun is setting here at the Circuit of the Americas. He crosses the line now, and he does improve a little bit, stays P6. George Russell, he's not going to improve at all. He's we're going to call him in because he's right behind the Williams. So yeah, let's just call him in, save the tires. Right, so qualifying 2 has started and the rain is out, so we are on the intermediate tires. We're going to send the guys out straight away before the rain does come down harder. So hopefully we should be okay just for a little bit, and then we should have enough time to get back in and then do some dry run. So let's get some intermediate time set, and then I think later on in the session we should be okay to get a dry run. So George Russell crosses the line, so does Lewis Hamilton. They're both coming in. The rain is maybe now starting to get a little bit worse, I think. Right, let's slow things down now. Lewis Hamilton's in P3, so I think he should be okay. George Russell is in P8, so he could be in a little bit of trouble, mate. Right, let's... Max Verstappen, he's on a fast lap, so George Russell and Carlos Sainz could be in a bit of trouble here. When is the... So it could be going dry. Let's go on to soft tires. That. And we're going to go on to soft tires as well with George, just in case. But we do have to watch the track, the rainfall. It's on 2.6. I don't think it's going to be enough for dries. We need to go out again. George Russell is currently in P10. That's a poor lap from him. We might have to go back out again on intermediate. So we're going to go back out.
No rain.
On intermediates, potentially.
Okay.
How quickly is this... is this rain going to clear? So 2.45 at the minute, but we do need to go out soon. Yeah, Yeah, I don't know if it's going to be dry weather. We've got about... Yeah, we're going to have to send them back out. So let's send Lewis Hamilton back out on the used intermediates. And George Russell out just as well. George Russell's come out in a decent position behind Valtteri Bottas. He needs to put in a very good lap. Otherwise, George Russell's going to be out in Q2. Here comes Lewis Hamilton then on his final lap. He's currently down in P9. He goes second fastest. But George Russell currently in the bottom 5. He's in P13. He crosses the line. Oh, he's gone up to P2 as well. Who's in trouble here? Sergio Perez is in trouble. Charles Leclerc is in trouble. Lando Norris is in trouble. Charles Leclerc is crossing the line now. And he goes up into P3. We just about made it. Any surprises? 2 Alpines and Zhou Guanyu out in Q2. So that rain did cause a little bit of trouble. Thank God we went back out because we had to do the correct thing for us. Lando Norris split in the 2 Mercedes. That's a good lap by him. Right, so the rain is coming down heavily. I don't think we're gonna go out just yet because people are going out on wet tires. We're going to wait until the rain has died down a little bit. Looking at it, it's probably gonna die down towards the end of the session. So I think we're gonna do maybe 1 run on possibly intermediate tires. Hopefully it doesn't backfire on us. So we're gonna fast forward just for a little bit. Actually, we're gonna go out now with Lewis. Can we get out ahead of Valtteri Bottas? And if we can get maybe George Russell out ahead of Carlos Sainz, we're gonna go out now on the wet tires. We should be okay here, I think. Let's set a wet tire lap and we should be okay. And then we can come in. Oh, the rain is getting much heavier. The rain is getting much heavier there. But yeah, we've maybe left it a little bit too late. I think we've maybe messed up here. Right, Lewis Hamilton starts his flying lap and George Russell starts his flying lap. On the wet tires, I don't think we're really going to improve that much. We're probably going to be P9 and P10 because we didn't go out fast enough in the wet conditions here. But Lewis Hamilton is crossing the line now. Let's see where he goes. Potentially P9, I think. He's ahead of Max Verstappen, so he's in P8. George Russell, let's see how quickly he goes as he comes around the final corner. He's not set a fast lap yet. He crosses the line now, and he's up to P8. He's been faster than Lewis Hamilton all weekend. So let's bring the guys in. The rain has stopped. Now I need to get these guys in and change the tires quickly. We're not going to have enough time. I think we've messed it up here. I don't think we're going to make it. I don't think we're going to make it at all. I think we mistimed this so badly. They're on their warm-up laps and they're not going to get across the line. It's 10 seconds left. No, we've missed it. These wet qualifying sessions always mess us up. And we're going to be in P9 and P10 with both of our drivers. And Lewis Hamilton does not need that. We're down in P9 and P10. Absolutely terrible from us. And George Russell's going to have an engine penalty. I've completely messed that up. I knew I should have waited until the end of the session, just gone out on the wet tyres. But I've completely cocked that up. Damn it. Damn it. That's my fault. But Charles Leclerc currently on pole position with Carlos Sainz in P3. in P2. Esteban Ocon in P3. Alpine is rapid right now. Max Verstappen will start P4. It depends on what engine penalty Sergio Perez has, but he will probably be ahead of Lewis Hamilton. George Russell is probably going to be down in around P15 or so. Let's head on to the race. Our strategy is going to have to save us here if we can make it, because we've not shown pace all weekend. But man, we messed that up. Right, so since we completely messed that up, oh man, we're gonna have to make up for it on the strategy. Right, strategy wise, then we're gonna have to try and go aggressive. So I think we're gonna go medium, hard, medium. We're gonna finish on the softer compound of tire. The softs don't really work around here at all. George Russell is going to be down in P19. Damn, that's going to be a problem with him. Yeah, medium, hard, medium for George Russell as well. Let's start the race. Lewis Hamilton's in P8. Hopefully we can make up some places from the start.
The drivers have now taken position on the grid, and it's looking like a cloudy day. And here we've got Lewis Hamilton. With a top 10 position on the grid, this race could really go either way for them. And here we can see Russell. Slower than most yesterday, so today they'll be starting from the bottom half of the grid. The teams are ready to go. Sit tight and get ready. It's the United States Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go.
We've started then, and looking at some of the competitors here who've started on the soft tyre, Lando Norris and Valtteri Bottas might be difficult to overtake. Lewis Hamilton's in P8, George Russell still in P19. Now he's down to P20 as Yuki Tsunoda is overtaking him. We need to try and stick with Sergio Perez if we can with George Russell, although it might be a bit difficult. Lewis Hamilton, he needs to jump past Valtteri Bottas as quickly as possible. Charles Leclerc currently leads. This is not good for the Drivers' Championship, and a 1-2 for Ferrari will be a hammer blow for the constructors. Hopefully Lewis Hamilton can work some magic around this American circuit. Right, first overtake then, and George Russell's got past Latifi just, and he's now up to P18. So let's take a look here at how things stand. He's in P18. Sergio Perez is up to P13. He's made a way through the field a little bit easier than George Russell. Lewis Hamilton is still down to P8, so we're gonna hit overtake because we need to get by Gasly and Bottas here as Lewis Hamilton looks down the inside at turn 1, close the door by Valtteri Bottas. Carlos Sainz leads from Charles Leclerc just, and that's okay for the title, but this is about damage limitation now, and Lewis Hamilton needs to get past this Alfa Romeo as quickly as possible. Fantastic work by Lewis Hamilton, who goes around the outside of Valtteri Bottas, and now he's got Pierre Gasly in his sights. If we can get by him on this straight, if we could get 2 moves done on this one lap with the DRS, I think we managed to do it. No, still behind Pierre Gasly, although there's a virtual safety car. Daniel Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso have come together, it looks like. Fernando Alonso is damaged badly. He's gonna have to retire the car there, surely. Daniel Ricciardo locks up and it smashes right into the back of Fernando Alonso.
It's caused absolute carnage.
Oh, and again. Oh, what a double crash that was. Daniel Ricciardo is definitely going to have a penalty, but Fernando Alonso and Ricciardo are both in trouble damage-wise. George Russell's up into P16, but Sergio Perez is up into P10. Lewis Hamilton's in P7. We're going to have to wait for this virtual safety car to end. But right now, chances of a podium for Lewis Hamilton do not look good. So Lewis Hamilton gets the job done and gets past Gasly. We now need to clear him, and we need to stay away from a battle with him. We're up into P5 and try to gain onto the back of Max Verstappen. We're going to go back onto neutral, and hopefully we can defend from Pierre Gasly just for a little bit. But right now, the Alpha Tauri is looking pretty rapid. Let's push on the fuel with both of our drivers. The poor thing that we missed out on is a free pit stop, which Valtteri Bottas and Lando Norris managed to get because they started on the soft tyre. Lewis Hamilton, P5, we've got some work to do if we want a podium. Both of our drivers have come in then for their pit stop. They've gone onto the hard tyres, and looking at everyone else, it seems as though we're the only ones to have done that so far. We've gone an aggressive with the tyre strategy. Lap 18. George Russell's down in P13. Lewis Hamilton's in P7. We need to watch out because Sergio Perez has just got past Pierre Gasly. Who's crashed? There's an accident in Sector 1. Who is it? It's not Charles Leclerc. He's in the pit stop. It's Max Verstappen. Championship contender Max Verstappen is behind Lando Norris. and there's been a bit of an incident. He locks up, goes wide, and hits straight into the wall. So Max Verstappen is potentially going to be in a bit of trouble here. Damage wise, how is his car looking? He's got some front wing damage, and in he comes to the pits. Does that mean Lewis Hamilton will get a free position here? It should do, but we have to be careful now. As I said, Sergio Perez is behind us. Max Verstappen is going to be behind Lewis Hamilton. This will be the end of his title challenge, I think, as Sergio Perez easily gets past Lewis Hamilton with the DRS. Right, the hard tyres seem to be working a little bit better now, and we have caught and passed Valtteri Bottas, and Lewis Hamilton is now up into P5 on the circuit. I don't think really it's going to mean much, as Sergio Perez is still fighting us. There is Lewis Hamilton with the fastest lap of the race. Thankfully for us now, as George Russell, his hard tyres are working too. A brilliant move by him past Alexander Albon. Is there going to be some points on the line here for George Russell? It's a good move, and now he can chase behind the AlphaTauri. Good driving there from George Russell, who is behind Yuki Tsunoda now. Lewis Hamilton, P5. Can we close up to both Ocon and Lando Norris with Lewis Hamilton? Lewis Hamilton has got past both Lando Norris and Esteban Ocon, and we are up into P4 with Lewis Hamilton now. Things are going well at the minute, unless he gets overtaken by the Alpine once again, as Lando Norris is now coming into the pits for his second stop. But he's going to have to go a very long way with Valtteri Bottas on those hard tyres. I think they might have to even stop again. Lewis Hamilton now has to chase down Sergio Perez. We are going into a little bit of tyre conserve mode, because as long as we can go on these hard tyres, is the better it will be at the end of this race on the mediums. George Russell is closing in on Max Verstappen, and he gets ahead of Valtteri Bottas, which is fantastic for the clear air. George Russell is going to go on attack mode now. Just use the tyres as much as we can. We've got a double points finish on right now. It's just about whether we'll be able to have that at the end of this race. Right, in comes Lewis Hamilton on lap 42, and he's pitting in for the medium tyres. Everyone else is pretty much on hards, so we're going to hopefully have the better set of tyres for the end of this race. He's behind Sergio Perez, is Lewis Hamilton. Is he going to get out ahead of Max Verstappen and Ocon? Potentially, as George Russell also comes into the pits from P7. Where is Lewis Hamilton going to feed out in this race? If he can get out ahead of Ocon, that's a positive, because Max Verstappen has yet to box. He is ahead of Max Verstappen though, and there is Ocon right behind as well. So that's a brilliant pit stop by the Mercedes guys, as George Russell, he's coming out now. Where is he going to feed out into this race? He's going to be behind Pierre Gasly, potentially up in P10. So we've done a decent recovery job here with George Russell. Sergio Perez has done a much better one. But now Lewis Hamilton on the medium tyres with only 14 laps to go. It's attack mode for both of our drivers, and we're just going to wring out these tyres now. Can Lewis Hamilton overturn a 13-second gap? I don't think so, but George Russell has potentially got a chance at P9 at best, I think. Charles Leclerc is not winning this race. He is way, way behind Carlos Sainz. But if we could maybe get Lewis Hamilton on the third step of the podium, that would be good for us. George Russell gets past Pierre Gasly then down the inside. Good stuff from him. And he gets the DRS as well. So it's an easy move for George Russell, who is up into P9. Fastest lap of the race goes to Lewis Hamilton. He has cleared Max Verstappen and Esteban Ocon. And Verstappen is going to have to box again. So, with 12 laps to go, Lewis Hamilton gain 11 seconds on Sergio Perez. How's the tyre wear going? Carlos Sainz and Sergio Perez have bad tyre wear, really. So yeah, we might be okay here to get this done. Right, 2 laps to go in this race, and Lewis Hamilton has not really made any inroads on Sergio Perez, still 13 seconds behind. But Sergio Perez, importantly, is right behind Charles Leclerc, and I don't think his tyres are really going to fall off. So, can Sergio Perez overtake Charles Leclerc and do us a real massive help for the title campaign, as George Russell has got up to P7 and he has passed Valtteri Bottas? Let's take a look at this replay. Here he is down the inside in the DRS zone on the better tyres, and he gets past the Alfa Romeo, who George Russell has seen a lot this season. Great driving from the both of them, and then making sure there's no contact. Good stuff there by George. Is he able to overtake both Esteban Ocon and Lando Norris with 2 laps to go? We've been deploying some ERS, so we do have to go onto neutral, but we are pushing with the fuel and we're on attack mode with the tyres. George Russell could finish P5 here. Right, we are on the final lap of what has been a pretty uneventful United States Grand Prix. Sergio Perez, though, is in the DRS of Charles Leclerc, who has been nursing his tyres for the majority of this race. He's been very conservative. Carlos Sainz currently leads and is way out in front. So it's going to be an easy race win for him. As Sergio Perez is looking down the inside of turn 1. Is he going to be able to make it stick? No, it's good defending by Charles Leclerc. Lewis Hamilton is crossing the line now for his final lap of the race. It looks as though he's going to finish in P4 pretty comfortably. But George Russell, he's now hit the tyre wear mark. It might be a little bit of trouble for him to overtake Esteban Ocon, but let's see. The DRS is open. We might have to think about defending from Valtteri Bottas as well as we go down the inside. Oh, that's a brilliant move by George Russell. He's managed to get by Esteban Ocon there. Can he make it stick? It's brilliant wheel-to-wheel driving from the both of them. And George Russell is up into P6. Fantastic, fantastic driving from George Russell. They're still going at it. Absolutely brilliant driving from Ocon as well. I'm surprised he didn't make contact there, but that's fantastic. A brilliant move by George Russell to get up into P6. And Sergio Perez has overtaken Charles Leclerc. That's brilliant news for the championship. Carlos Sainz crosses the line. He is your race winner today. But now it's all about the points for the driver's title. If Sergio Perez can take points off Charles Leclerc, that will be fantastic. Let's take a look here, as there's going to be a DRS zone coming up. Can Sergio Perez stay in front of the Ferrari driver? We're looking behind here. He's coming around the final corner. There's not going to be enough time here. Sergio Perez finishes second. Charles Leclerc in P3. Lewis Hamilton with a comfortable P4. Good recovery from him. Now George Russell looking down the inside. Brilliant from him. He's up into P5. We're going on attack mode. Let's keep this position. I don't know how George Russell has managed to get up to P5. The tyres are absolutely falling off a cliff here. It's going to the final corner. George Russell, who started in P19, crosses the line, and that is a wonderful recovery drive from him. P5 by George Russell, followed by Lando Norris P6, a great drive by him. Esteban Ocon P7, Valtteri Bottas P8. Max Verstappen has been knocked out of the championship race for the driver's side of things, finishing in P9. He had a poor crash earlier on in the race, and that just ruined everything for him. And Pierre Gasly come home in P10. But that isn't too bad for the championship. Only a difference of about 3 points, so can't really be too bad at that.
Lewis Hamilton did okay here today. There's no doubt that Mercedes have a lot of potential. Now they need to figure out how to make it work for them.
They've displayed some moments of quality here. All they need now is some fine-tuning to achieve great things.
At the end of the weekend, it's second place in the constructor standings for them.
We're nearing the end of the season and it's time for some serious heat. Stay with us as Formula One moves to Mexico City.
A brilliant dominant weekend by Carlos Sainz there. Fantastic all session. and he has won this American GP comfortably. Sergio Perez in P2 and Charles Leclerc rounding out podium position. And what that means, drivers standing wise, is Lewis Hamilton now has a 5-point lead to Charles Leclerc. The problem is, at some stage, we are going to have to take an engine penalty with Lewis Hamilton. Charles Leclerc in second place. Carlos Sainz up into P3 following that dominant race from him. Max Verstappen down to P4. His form has taken a huge dip and he has been knocked out of the contention for the drivers standing. And George Russell comfortably in P5. Does he have an opportunity to overtake Max Verstappen? Potentially. It'll be interesting to see. Constructors wise, I think that's been a hammer blow by Ferrari. We need a massive turnaround now if we're going to win this Constructors Championship, and I don't think we've got it in us with the amount of penalties that we're going to have to take. I'm thinking maybe we take the penalties at Brazil potentially, or something like that. Otherwise, we're just not really going to have much pace to end the season at all with Lewis Hamilton, and there's a gap now of 26 points back to Ferrari. We're going to need some luck on our side if we do want the Constructors Championship. And that is going to wrap up today's episode. Thank you so much for watching. We are going to head to Mexico. I believe it is next time out for the Mexican Grand Prix. Sponsor-wise, you got a lot of money in and a little bit of money. A little bit of money not come in because of the qualifying position. That was completely my fault. No driver bonuses have gone out. So yeah, decent financial wise there. Yeah, we're heading to Mexico in 4 days time. Again, a huge apologies for the missing content over the last week. Again, if you can't hear it from my voice, I have had a little bit of a cold, so a little bit of a flu. So hopefully we're getting to the end of that, and we'll be able to push on and bring you more content from this F1 Manager save. If you are new around here, hit that subscribe button down below. We're pushing on towards 150 subscribers as the next target, and I'm hoping to get it before the end of this year. And like the video if you are enjoying the content. And we'll be back for the Mexican Grand Prix, where hopefully we can take a big step in securing Lewis Hamilton an 8th world title and a Mercedes 9th consecutive Constructors Championship. But in the meantime, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you for the next episode.